to BHookedCrochet.com. I'm your host Brittany. In this tutorial I'm going to demonstrate how to crochet the heart stitch. This is a very simple 3-row repeat pattern that can be used for various different projects. You can make a blanket out of it. You can even work this stitch in the round and use it on a hat or a wrist warmer or something along those lines. For this tutorial I'm going to be using worsted weight yarn and a size 5mm crochet hook, but know that you can use any yarn and any hook that coordinates with your yarn that you have available to you. The heart stitch is worked in a multiple of 7 plus 1, so we need to create a chain that is a multiple of 7, and then we're going to add 1 chain to it. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to chain 21. Okay, with 21 chains, so my number is a multiple of 7. I'm adding 1 chain, and that's because the first stitch that we're going to use for this pattern is a single crochet, and that 1 chain is going to act as our first single crochet. Now the next thing that we want to do is half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So this was our chain that we're counting as a single crochet. We're going to work the half double into this chain here. Then we want to work 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 chains. And into the next chain we want to make a half double crochet, and in the next chain a single crochet. And that is our repeat for our foundation row. Now as you can see, we're kind of forming a little bit of a curve, so it's going to follow that pattern until we've reached the end of our chain. So half double into the next 4 double crochet over the next 4 chains, now half double into the next chain, single crochet into the next, half double, now 4 double crochets, then we want to half double crochet again, and our last chain we're going to make a single crochet. That finishes off the foundation row for the heart stitch, and the third row of the 3-row repeat for this pattern is going to be very similar to this row right here. Now at this point we are finished with our color A. In my case I'm using gray. So you can bind off, and now you'll want to get your second color and we'll work on row 2. I'd like to use a pretty high contrasting color for my color B. I think it brings out the overall pattern a little bit better. I've tried using lighter color yarns and you can't quite see the hearts as well. So I'm going to bind on by just first creating a slip knot, and I want to locate that first chain. So this was the foundation row that we did. If you remember correctly, we made our first chain, or that +1 was counting as a single crochet stitch. So that's where we need to start. We're going to insert our hook into that chain and then just place your new color on your hook, bind on, and we want to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this chaining of 4 is acting as a treble crochet. The next thing that we need to do is double crochet into the same space. Now we are going to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to skip 6 stitches, or what I like to do, the easiest way to know where we need to work is we're going to be working into the single crochets from that previous row. So you can go ahead and either count the stitches, or you can go ahead and double crochet into that next single crochet. Now treble crochet, and chain 2. This chaining of 2 is going to act as the center of our hearts. Now we will treble crochet, and we'll do so in that same stitch. And double crochet the last stitch of this little pattern into that same stitch. So we've got a cluster of stitches right there, and that's our pattern repeat. We'll chain 3, skip 6 stitches, or we can just find that single crochet, and we will double crochet into that stitch, treble crochet, chain 2, treble crochet, and double crochet, chain 3 again, and when you've come to the end of the row, we're not going to do a full heart like you see here. We're actually going to do what we did on this side, where we just have the 2 stitches. So we need to have a double crochet into that last single crochet, or if you're counting, you count over 6 stitches, and then we will treble crochet into the same stitch, and at this point we're finished with our color B, so we can go ahead and bind off again. Now we're ready to move on to row 3, and we're going to grab our color A to do so. Working again with color A, we're going to bind on by creating a slip knot. We're going to bind on into this 4th chain here, so this would be the top of the treble crochet. So just insert your hook into that chain and bind on and chain 1. So that chaining of 1 is going to act as a single crochet, and we'll go ahead and chain 1. And now if we look down, the stitches for this round, we're actually going to be working into the first round here. So basically we're just working in those middle 2 stitches. We're going to be double crocheting, and we're going to be working over this chain. So just put your hook into that stitch, make sure it's wrapping around the chain, and finish your double crochet, and do that one more time for the next stitch. And then we'll chain 2. This chaining of 2 is going to get us up it's going to fill up this gap here between these 2 stitches, so we're not going to be increasing or decreasing. Then we're going to make a single crochet into that chain 2 space. Now chain 2 again, so we're working our way down the other side of our heart. Then we are going to locate those middle 2 stitches and work our double crochet. Now chain 2 again, single crochet into that chain 2 space, chain 2, and double crochet into those middle 2 stitches. And to finish off this round, we're going to chain 2 first. Rather, we're going to chain 1. So we'll chain 1 to get us up this stitch right here, and then we're going to single crochet into that last stitch, which was our treble crochet. Now that finishes off row 3. We're going to keep using color A, and we're going to be working row 4. Now I had mentioned earlier that row 4 is very similar to row 1, and that's because we're going to be using the same combination of stitches. So our hearts are going to be sitting right on top of each other. So the point of the next one up here is going to be in the center of this one, and so on. So since we made our single crochets into the middles of our hearts, this first chain that we're going to do, this chain 1, is going to act as a single crochet. Now we will turn our work, and then we're going to half double crochet into this chain 1 space, and we're also going to double crochet into the same space. Then we will double crochet once into each of the next 2 double crochets. Now we'll double crochet once into the chain 2 space, then half double crochet into the same space, and we're going to single crochet into the single crochet from the previous row, and we'll start over. Half double crochet, double crochet, double crochet into each of these 2 double crochets. Now double crochet into that chain 2 space, half double crochet, now single crochet into the single crochet. Now we'll make a half double and a double crochet. Now we want to double crochet into each of these next 2 stitches. Now we will double crochet into that chain space, half double crochet, and then we want to make a single crochet into this chain here. So this is where we bind it on before. We'll make our last stitch there, and that completes the pattern repeat for this heart stitch. Now that we have covered all the rows of the heart stitch, now you're just going to simply repeat rows 2, 3, and 4 over and over until your project is the size that you need it. This concludes our demonstration for today. Stay tuned for more free patterns and video tutorials at BHookedCrochet.com.